Culture evolves at the speed of light, just like your financial needs. When it comes to your money, Credit Karma keeps you in the know and ahead of the game. You can count on Credit Karma to keep up with your financial needs as they evolve. We'll help you monitor your progress and give personalized recommendations so you can make strides towards your goals and find your way to money. Make sure you're on the right track, no matter where you are on your financial journey. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
Find yourself looking for a new job or change in career? Monster.com is here to help. We are not only here to bring you job postings, but also AI interview prep and salary tools, expert career advice, and top-notch resume services. We've got everything you need to land your perfect job fit. Discover the magic of finding the ideal job with Monster.com. Your future starts now. Visit Monster.com today. Your next job opportunity is just a click away.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to When Reality Hits with Jax and Brittany. We got no Brittany this week. She's taken a little bit of break. She's never had a break. She's on these every week. She says, Jax, why don't you do this one on your own? I want to sleep in a little bit. I want to take care of the baby. I'm like, babe, don't worry. I got this. So this week we have on the infamous Johnny Bananas. If you've been living on a planet, I'm not on this planet for the last 10 years. You know he's the most iconic MTV villain out there. How you doing, buddy?
I love how the one podcast your wife decides to take off is the one where I come on. Did I say something to her like at the premiere party
not
or
at all.
something?
What
happened here?
No, she's just like, is he going to say a bunch of stuff that I don't want to hear? No, she didn't say it all. She's literally, she's just been on the go. She's been working like crazy. And she's like, you two are just going to riff the whole time anyway. I don't know what you guys got into at the house. You're probably going to talk about House of Villains. You're talking to me, talk about what's just boy stuff. She's like, do I really need to get involved in this? Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. And I'm like, Brittany, don't worry about it, babe. You sleep in, take care of the baby. I'll handle this one.
In fact, I think we should rename the podcast the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
The Woman Haters, dude. Are you trying to get me divorced?
I'm just kidding, dude. No, you're great, man.
First of all, let me ask you, where are you right now? You're not in California.
I'm not. I'm in Florida. I'm actually twilighting. Is that what it's called? Twilighting? I said honeymooning last time, but that's the wrong terminology for it. I'm twilighting right now in South Florida, Boca Raton. I just opened up a boxing franchise out here called Rumble.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, we have our grand opening next Thursday, the 3rd. So I'm gonna have a bunch of cast members coming out, bunch of celebs, national, local. The mayor, I think, is going to come out. We're going to cut some ribbon, drink some champagne, make some bad decisions.
You got the mayor coming out to your grand opening. Okay, so first of all, Rumble, it's a boxing gym. Is this something that you've been thinking about doing for a very long time? Or
I had two options. All right. It's like you and I were kind of like the yin and yang. All right. I had two options. I'm like, I want to open a business. I wanted this for a long time. I'm either going to go nightlife or fitness. And when I weighed my options, I was like, what are the pros and cons of both? You open a bar, you open a gym. There's going to be hot people going in, guys, girls, whatever your flavor is.
Right.
But if I open a gym, it's like, I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be there during the day. I'm going to be able to get good night's sleep. I'm like, if I open a bar, I'm going to be surrounded by alcohol and bad decisions and late nights all the time. So, and listen, bro, you know it. I'm 41. My favorite line so far from you this season is you were like, before I used to have to sneak out of the house to go to the club. Now I'm sneak out of the club to go to the house. And that was the most relatable thing I've ever heard.
100%. And I got to say now, our grand opening of our bar is on Saturday this week. We've been doing soft openings now for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And let me tell you, I've drank more in the last 4 weeks than I have in the last 3 years of my life. You're 100% right. Like, even I go in, I'm not drinking. But then you know what? There's people visiting from out of town. They're like, I got people from Australia, from London. Hey, have a shot. What am I going to do? Say no?
No. And you know how it is, dude, when we go out, especially if we're doing like watch parties, appearances, that sort of thing, everyone wants to buy you a shot.
Everybody.
But I'm like, listen, if I took a shot with every single person that wanted me to, I'd be on the floor in 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's what it's starting to happen to me. So now I had to tell the bartenders, make sure you fill up the shot glass with water when it's for me, because like I can barely make it around. And like, Jax, can you come in for this? Can you come in from this? Like when I started this, I was like, okay, I'm going to be there like on Fridays and Saturdays, but now there's Monday Night Football, there's Thursday Night Football, and people want you to come in, and people are coming there's people here from the Valley, from Orange County, from Vegas, from whatever. They all come to visit you, and I feel bad if I'm not there.
It's also your baby, dude. I mean, it's your business. You've put probably a lot of sweat and tears into that place. It's, obviously it's a reflection on you. The better it does, the better you do. And you kind of want to be there to oversee it, dude. So, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, no, it's been a blessing in disguise. Like I said, every guy in the world wants to own a sports bar, right? I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a dream come true. And I just have amazing partners, and I'm just really excited for this weekend. So we actually put the tickets on yesterday. Casamigos decided to buy out the place last minute. They're like, you know what, Jax, what?
Oh, no, that's awesome. Stop. Yeah.
Casamigos. I'm sorry, dude. I'm old. I don't get a lot.
No, I didn't mean stop. Like actually stop. I meant stop like as a figure of speech.
I know. That's the part where I'm saying I'm old. Anyway, so Casamigos called me and hey, listen, Jax, what if we buy out the whole place? I'm like, okay, cool. That way everybody can get in for free. So I put it online last night. Casamigos decides to buy out my bar. Within 5 minutes, crashed the computers. Now we're like oversold, and now we're gonna have the oversold problems, but I don't know how we're gonna make that
work. Dude, that's a tough problem to have. George Clooney's hitting you up to have his alcohol sponsor or his alcohol brand buy out your club, and now your computer's crashing because you got way too many people wanting to come. That's terrible, man.
It's a very, very good problem to have, and I'm very excited about it, though. It's gonna be this Saturday when I'm planning on it. I'm preparing my liver as we speak. But I'm excited.
What are you gonna dress up as?
Well, Brittany kind of decided our outfit. So we're gonna be Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. She planned that out. I am known for I make it very clear that I hate dressing up. I do not like it. I just think it's just stupid. I just don't ever want to do it. And now that I have a kid, I don't have a choice. So Brittany's got multiple costumes for me. I'm going to be a dinosaur one day. I think we're going to do a Jurassic Park theme where we're going to walk, cruise around the neighborhood. I'm going to be a dinosaur. He's going to be like a park ranger. Brittany's going to be another Jurassic Park person. And then I'm doing Roger Rabbit, Jessica Rabbit. So she's got this all, I'm just waiting for Halloween to be over.
I don't know what I'm going to be yet, but all I know is I'm going to dress up like such a slut.
Are you going to be in Florida for Halloween?
Yeah. So actually I do know what I'm going to be. I ordered my costume a while ago. I'm going to be Jack Sparrow from, Pirates of the Caribbean. Obviously, this probably would have been a much better idea to do like in California at this time of year where it's cool. It's like 85 degrees out. And I have like, you've seen that costume. Yeah. There's like dreadlocks and a coat and like a tie-up shirt and boots and pants. I'm going to be dying.
Are you going to a club or are you going to a restaurant or what are you doing?
Don't know yet. Haven't thought that far ahead. I mean, I didn't realize it was this weekend and I'm trying to plan my weekend out. Cause I'm like, so you and I are going to be together this Thursday.
Yeah.
Hogan's Hangout.
Oh yeah. For those of you that don't know, well, they're not going to hear this till later, but we are going. Well, we did go. I guess when they hear this, we did go to. Actually, no. We'll actually be in Florida when this comes out. So we are going to be. When you guys hear this, we are currently in Clearwater, Florida. We are at Hogan's Hangout with Johnny Fairplay. We're going to host a little party there. Another viewing party. We're going to have a lot of fun. I think it's going to be fun. Clearwater is one of my favorite places.
It's going to be so good.
Florida is my favorite place in the world, so I'm super excited about that.
Well, when are you going to come out and visit, man?
So Thursday, I leave on Thursday. You got to understand, when you have a family and I got this grand opening, this bar, I got to be in and out. I did Boston the last 2 weeks in a row, and I was literally there for both times added up. I was there for 12 hours. So
I can relate. I have houseplants and squirrels that when like I'm not home, like I don't know what to do. I'm like, who's taking care of them?
But we got to jump on this train while it's going full steam ahead. You never know. In this business that we're in, we never know what's going to end. So right now we're very blessed and we're working a lot. We're making people happy. We're making entertaining TV. And that's what's going to lead me into my next segment here, House of Villains. Oh, love it. Okay. All right. First of all, how did you hear about this show? Just want to ask you, how did you hear about it?
Buddy, I thought it was I thought it was a joke at first. My manager hits me up and goes, hey, we got an offer for this show. It's going to be on E, which I thought after Kardashians wasn't even a thing anymore.
I agree. I feel like my manager and your manager got together and had the same script because so far exactly what you're saying is what my manager did to me. But go ahead.
I didn't really believe him. He was like, yeah, it's called House of Villains. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. He goes, yeah, basically you and like 9 other iconic reality television villains. I'm like, who? He's like, don't know. They won't tell us.
Yeah.
So that's exactly I went into this kind of like blind in a way. Usually before I do shows, I mean, obviously the challenge, they don't tell you who's going, but you're able to compare notes before you know enough people with competition shows. Competition shows, you're really not supposed to be a surprise when you show up. But like I said, I've done so many seasons. We all talk before this. I didn't know anybody. So I'm like, am I going to be walking onto a show on a network that is kind of like trying to regain its identity?
Yeah.
On a show with a bunch of like, who knows? Like,
yeah, I was nervous too. You know, like I said, this was the first one for me coming back after Vanderpump. And, you know, when I got that phone call coming out of COVID, coming back on reality TV, I asked the wife, I'm like, hey, I got an offer for this show. What do you think? She's like, you need to do it. You need to go have fun. It's been a couple of years. You haven't been on TV. Get back into it. I'm like, well, she goes, what's the premise? Same thing. I'm on with the biggest villains of reality TV, which I've never done a competition show before. We'll get into that in a minute. So I was like, you know what? I played it up very much wrong, as we'll talk about. But so I'd never done a show like this. My manager's kind of like, hey, why don't you try this? It'd be kind of fun for you to get back out there. I know you want to get back on TV. And I have. I was thinking about getting back on TV. I've had a long enough break. I got to say, the world misses Jax and Brittany. I needed to be back. I'm made for television. So I need to be back on TV. So I like I said, talked it over with Brittany, talked it over with the network. We kind of just did our negotiations as you do. And we said, okay, let's do this. And
yeah.
And then it's just
I was in the same boat.
Downhill from there, I guess.
I was
uphill or however you want to look at it.
Go either way. I mean, I think downhill from perspective of, and listen, I've done a lot of reality competition shows before. Generally, it's the same thing. It's the challenge. But then I did, Worst Cook. So I did a cooking show. I've done other ones I can't really discuss at this point in time. But I've never in my life walked into a house where the energy level that was just like pulsating out of that place from the second we walked in the front door.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was just me, but I'm generally used to being like in a group, like the loudest, most over the top kind of like obnoxious one. Like, that's just how I am. I grew up in an Italian family. So I just grew up me and my sisters just screaming over each other. It's like baby birds, whoever's the loudest gets fed the most. But dude, I had that first introduction. We were all there and the libation started flowing and everyone was just kind of like, jockeying for position. I've never been in a situation where I felt like it was that hard to just like keep up. I had to dial it up to 1 million just to like stay above water. And it was like that for 3 straight weeks.
I'm on the same pages with you. As soon as I got on there, first of all, I was like, I am out of my element. What did I sign up for? I mean, I don't watch a lot of reality TV, especially the shows that everybody's been on. Everyone's been on these shows for years and years, and I just wasn't into reality TV in those days. I am a little bit more now, but in the days of all the iconic shows, I really wasn't watching. So I didn't really know anybody too much. I knew, obviously Omarosa, and I know New York because, well, you have to be an idiot not to know who those legendary women are. Obviously, I know who you are because you're iconic on MTV. But for the most part, I didn't know anybody. But I knew how crazy these women are. Okay, I knew how nuts they are. And sure as shit, man, I walked in that house and I felt so uncomfortable.
So obviously Vanderpump and The Challenge, like the two worlds we come from could not be more different, right? But I think it's the same in regards to like the people that you film with. Generally, there are certain people who stand out.
Right.
There are certain people who can carry a show. There's the people with star power, and then there's role players, right? And I mean, it's funny because that clip that they showed on repeat where you're telling Sandoval, I'm the number one guy in this group. I love it, dude. I love it.
I will never live that down. I mean, that's just one of the most iconic quotes of all time.
So good. But it fits. But that's what I'm saying is guys like you and I think generally are used to being in an environment where we are kind of like the ones that stand out. There's a lot of role players. What I felt like and on The Challenge, it's like that. There's like 3, 4, maybe 5 vets, people who've been doing it for a long time that carry the show, that produce the show, that everybody else, we act and everybody else reacts, right? Everyone else is very reactionary. Whereas I felt like walking into this house, it was the first time I've been in a situation where I felt like every single person in that house was like a standout.
Right.
Knew exactly what they were doing.
Right.
You got Omarosa, like you said. You got New York, Tanisha,
Bobby,
dude. Who you're literally sitting around these people, and you're like, oh my god, like these people are absolute, like they're professionals. If it's possible to be a professional reality television personality, they were professionals.
Right. They are the kings at their craft, the kings of their demographic, the kings of their shows for sure. And we're all in one house. locked in here for, X amount of days. Yeah, it was stressful. I guess we can talk about it that I am no longer on the show. Obviously, I was voted off. Definitely, it was bittersweet for sure. I wasn't really sure how I felt about it in the beginning. I was kind of like, okay, and then I was kind of like, man, I played this wrong. I was definitely so wishy-washy on that show. As you know, there was times of the day where I was like, okay, I think I should stay, and then like, no, I want to go, and then wait a minute, okay, I'll stay. Like, yeah, I couldn't have been more transparent. Of like, man, get this guy off. He doesn't know what he wants. He's so confused.
You did that. They didn't show it. Well, they didn't show
a lot, actually.
They didn't show a lot. And that was one of the things that like didn't come through again, was what you said. Cause at first you were like, all right, man, because when we came into the house, I'm not going to lie, like you were out of all the guys there. I mean, I guess this couldn't come as a surprise, but it was like, I gravitated towards you the most because right. I felt like we were like, you just seemed like the most relatable to me.
Exactly. I feel I said the same thing to Brittany when I got home. She was kind of, who did you like? And everybody, all the interviews I've been doing, who was your favorite? I said, obviously Johnny. I think we just have a lot of similarities. We like to go to the gym, we go.
Yeah. I mean, bars, not that Bobby and I aren't cut from the exact same cloth.
No, I know, right? I got to say, I mean, I probably hung out with you the most, but other than you and I think Bobby was probably the most entertaining person.
Guy never
on
stopped.
That show. He never stopped. I don't know if it's a character with him. I don't know if he's like that behind closed doors, but he never turned off. I mean, with the fashion, with his everything, he was just
he's a sound bite machine too.
He really, really is. He knows how to talk. He knows how to do he's quick-witted. He's just like, I was just literally taking it all in. For the once in my reality life, I didn't have a lot to say on that show. I was just taking it all in because I'm such an alpha male, like you said, and I kind of take over every show that I'm on, and I'm very loud. But I felt like I was just kind of taking it all in. I felt like I was definitely out of my element, and I said that so many times. I was like, man, I
said this to you too, though. I remember when you were like going through it. You're like, man, you're like, reality competition is not my thing. You're like, you just have a knack for this. I'm like, Jax, I've been doing this for 18 years. Dude.
Yeah, you've been doing it for
a long time. I've done 22 seasons of reality, of the challenge, of competition shows. This was your first one. I told you the same thing. I was like, that would be like me going on a show like Vanderpump, or more of like a docuseries type show. I wouldn't know what the hell I was doing either. I wouldn't know how scene worked. I wouldn't know, what to say, where to go. So it's like, it's a learning process, man.
And they told me that going in. My manager, my friends are like, Jax, this is not like anything you've ever done. Watch MTV, watch Big Brother, watch Survivor. I'm like, no, I don't need to do any of that. I'm just going to bully my way through it. I'll be fine. I'm athletic. No one's going to beat me in anything. Well, yeah, I got beat in everything. But I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time for the most part. I got to say, people were watching the show last week and they're like, Jax, did you actually cry? I actually did tear up. I teared up.
When Tiffany
called
said
me a demon, I'm like, gosh, she doesn't even know me. I had one conversation, and that's another thing. Yeah. I got into the house, I think third to last, and everybody's already built these alliances, and we're going to vote this and this way. It's like so much the word strategery going on here. There was a lot of planning in that. I'm like, people were making friends 5 minutes in, and I'm like, I just got in here, and I got to force these fake friendships.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, and I think you were already gone at this point, but New York came down and lit me up too. She called me a hammer-headed, reptilian-looking motherfucker. So I don't know if that's as bad. I mean, I don't know if that's as bad as being a demon, but I mean, it's probably up there. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds bad.
I just kind of was a little frustrated with a couple people on the show, New York being one of them, and not because of what she said, but for her, like an Anfisa, basically hid in their room the whole time and came down when they were told to. I felt like that was a little unfair. They kind of just came down, when they were told to. They would come down, spit a little bit of verbiage, and then go back upstairs. That's what they would do, and it was just kind of like, where have you been the whole time? They just like, oh, there she is, and they come and go when they wanted.
Well, I think the difference is this, though. I think the difference between the two is New York has a long history. She's iconic. She's known for doing that. I felt like New York looked at this as more of like a business trip, right? And in a way, it's almost like she's kind of earned the right to be able to be like the queen to do that. Whereas Anfisa, I didn't get, because I'm like, you do realize we're making a television show here, right? And in order to do that, you need to talk and you need to like I don't know, be engaging here and there. And
she was literally in her room the whole time. For those of you who don't know and watch the show, obviously it's cut up and you don't see that, but she was in her room 95% of the time, unless the producer said, you need to come down and be social or you need to be a part of this game. But she stayed in her room the whole time. And I know this because she was my roommate along with Omarosa. I slept in the middle. We had 3 beds in the room. I was in the middle. I didn't stay in that room very long because, as you guys saw, I am a loud sleeper. I snore. So I went down on the couch. But they did not leave the room. And it was just really, really frustrating how, you know, I'm sitting here trying to play the game. I'm like, I'm playing this all wrong.
No, but again, Jax, if you came on the challenge, for example, and you came into the game the way you did this, you'd be there till the end.
Right.
That's the thing is this show, in a weird way, it's a competition show, but it's like you have to almost be like reserved in your competitiveness. And I kind of saw that right when I walked in the door. Here's the big, listen, this, you know what really did you in? I think this was, and it wasn't your fault. First challenge being physical. Yeah. Had the first challenge been one of the carnival game challenges that we did, dude, the outcome would have been completely different. The fact that we went in, you not knowing necessarily like how to move the pieces, how to play, how to kind of dial it back and not freak everybody out because you came out like a goddamn fucking wrecking ball.
I know.
But had the challenge in the beginning been something more carnival-y, like you'll see coming up in the season, would have been a whole different outcome. It was almost like the perfect storm of events for you because you came in, still trying to get your feet wet, figuring out what reality competition was about. You came in with this competitive, fire burning, and you're like, oh yeah, it's a competitive show. I'm going to empty the tank. And it's like, no, because now you're going to freak everybody out,
Yeah. And that's what was going on. And you know what? I was watching back and I watched the show actually twice now, and they didn't really show a lot of the confrontation I had, especially in the hot tub between myself and Shake. As you guys know, I've said it many times, I do not like this human being at all. He's just one of those people that I just do not like. And we got into it a few times on the show, but they really didn't put a lot of that in there. I was kind of surprised, to be honest.
You know what I wasn't like privy to happening, but it's one of the best moments that I think they've captured so far. And a lot of times, this is why I got to give this show credit too. On the challenge, and I'm sure it's like on yours as well, like the cameras aren't up all the time. Right? On the challenge, like we'll be there. Yeah, we technically film 24 hours a day, but unless you're having a conversation with somebody that is related to the game or to story or to something, the cameras are down, right?
Right. Well, they had cameras in the house, but
I understand. No. What I'm saying though is there were camera crews on this show filming 24 hours a day.
Right.
Dude, I'd wake up in the morning, there'd be a guy filming me opening my eyes, going into the closet and putting clothes on. I'm like, guys, can you give me a minute? I'm like, dude, you guys got GoPros in the toilet? It's like, what are we doing here? We sat outside. I'm not sure if you were still here at this point or not, but one of the days we got up at like, I don't know, 10, 11. We sat on the jacuzzi and drank all day. They filmed us for probably 4 straight hours. 3 cameras didn't move once. And we're just shooting the shit about whatever. So that, I think, as kind of annoying as it was to always have cameras on you, it allowed them to capture really good moments, like Shake in the closet, basically talking shit on you when you were like, listen, when you were trying to give the guy advice.
And
like,
you know what?
Hey, I make money on Cameo.
I know.
My wife did a Jenny Craig ad, blah, blah. And he's like, he then takes that and almost like weaponizes it, where he's like, oh yeah, Jax doesn't need the money because he was telling how much money he made. But you were sitting there right behind him. And it was such a perfect shot because Shake had no idea that you were literally standing in the hallway overhearing this entire conversation and watching him get caught. It was like watching a kid get caught with his pants down, dude. It was pretty like, much. Oh Jesus. Yeah.
Pretty much. And you know what, too, just to clarify that, I mean, they edited that pretty well. And we were sitting at the kitchen table and talking, and it was actually a really good conversation, but it made it look like I was sounding a little cocky, a little conceited, but I really wasn't. I wish I had somebody like myself in my corner when I was starting on reality TV. What I was trying to tell him, I was trying to say, hey, listen, you need to monetize being on reality TV. You need to use this as a platform. They gave you a free platform basically to do what you want on TV. So I was trying to say, listen, I've been on TV this many years. Mm-hmm. This is what I do to make money. Cause he was like, I need to figure out how to make money, how to make extra money. I want to start this. I want to do this. He's like, what do you do? They didn't put any of that in there. And I was telling him, like, this is what I do.
Apparently, there's not a whole lot of money in neutering dogs.
No, I guess not. I guess not. Neutering old ladies' cat. I go, what do you do? He's like, well, I take care of old ladies' cats in Miami. I that's what he told me. I don't know.
I'm shocked. I'm like shocked saying, you ain't rolling in dough, dude.
Like I literally was sitting there having a great conversation. Like I was not trying to be an asshole at all. I was like, listen, hey, it's kind of like the Michael Jordan theory. Like, when he was playing, he didn't make a lot of money from playing with the Bulls. He made money with everything else, Nike, Gatorade, to that. So I was trying to say, listen, use the show as a platform, do other things, do this, the cameos, do advertising, put yourself out
brand
there,
deals.
PR, brand deals. That's where you make your money.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to tell him that's because he was asking questions. And then he was, I guess, Googling me when we got our phones between when we wrap filming, I don't know if people know this. We wrap filming around 11, 12 o'clock, usually at night. And
unless you're Bobby, then you wrap at like 4 a.m.
Unless you're Bobby, right. So between 12 and like whenever you decided to go to bed, we got our phones for a very short window. So you can check our emails because a lot of us had to check our emails or whatever we had to do. So he would get on the phone and he was Googling me and trying to figure out what I made and then using that against me. And I go, dude, I don't understand why you do that. And he's like, well, you have all this stuff. I'm like, yes, I have these things because I have all these brand deals that I was trying to tell you, this is how you can do it. I'm giving you the recipes here, the instructions on how to do it. And he just used it against me. Oh, he doesn't need this. I was giving you free advice.
Was that?
And he used it against me.
Now, let me ask you this, because obviously you guys did have that, which was probably one of the best arguments I've ever witnessed in my entire life on reality TV. Because it was just like, over the top insult one way, over the top insult the other way. It was like you guys were just throwing haymakers, dude. But was that at the point, would you say that was, because up until then, I don't think there was any, well, actually, no, he did push your ball out in Balls Out. What was the point where you were just like, this guy, was it the Balls Out or was it then?
You mean where I was gonna get?
Well, no, where you just were like, all right, I don't like this individual. At what point?
As soon as I walked in the house.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just, how people just rub you the wrong way. Rubbed me the wrong way, man. He's just one of those ones that just rubbed me the wrong way. And then between the hot tub scene, he was going at me, and then every time I would put myself out there and be nice, which it was unlike me. I was just kind of just being nice. We're not locked in a house. We have no technology. We're sitting around making small talk with people. I was just trying to help him out. And he used it against me. And it was my fault. I should have known what he was trying to do. But yeah. And to be honest with you, I was very, very close, especially in that hot tub, to getting in a fight. Very close. I was this close.
I saw
especially, remember when I said I was going back to jail? I was. Yep. Have you ever gotten in a fight on reality TV? Have you literally gotten
Yeah, once, but it wasn't with the cast. Believe it or not, it wasn't with the cast member. It was with this drunk guy in Prague.
Really? Yeah. Were you during production? Were you filming?
Yeah, but I didn't get booted off the show because this guy actually was the aggressor. But my whole thing is like, I've always been, here's the way I look at it, dude. Anytime, and there have been multiple times when people have tried to get me to snap and tried to get me to, do something stupid. Because on the challenge now, if you breathe on someone too hard, you're going home. Like they're really? So strict about physical contact now. They didn't used to be able to get away with a palm to the face, as long as it's open-handed, a forearm shiver,
right.
A push, that sort of thing. Now, like I said, dude, if you brush up against someone too hard, you're going home. So I've always seen it. I always know the reason that people are trying to get under my skin and trying to get me to flip out is because they want me to do something stupid and send myself home. But the ultimate form of self-discipline is self-control, dude, Right. And my dad's always said this, and it's one of the best quotes. He says, you control somebody to the degree that you throw them out of control. So the crazier you can make a person, the more pissed off you can make a person, the more in control of that person you are. So I always think of that when someone's trying to get me wound up. I'm just thinking I don't want this person to be in control of me. So I'm going to dial it back. And the more you can, I like to diffuse things with humor as well, because I've always seen if you fight fire with fire, if someone's really aggressive towards you and then you try and puff your chest out and they puff your chest out. But if you find a way to actually make fun of the person for acting like this, it's so much more, not just effective in the moment, but it affects them so much more from a mental, emotional standpoint than it does, if you were to put hands on them.
It's deflating. You're right. You got to kill them with words. But mind you, we were sitting in that hot tub for hours. We were about 20 beers.
No, you guys did kill each other with words. I was sitting there and I'm like, damn, dude.
I can't believe they didn't put any of that in there.
It was so good. It was such a good argument, dude.
I was actually waiting. I'm like, this is going to be my moment at the hot tub moment. And they cut all that out. I was really bummed. All right. I got to ask you, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. This question. Did you know they were sabotaging me at the golf cart challenge?
I did not know they were at the time, but I knew it was obvious watching, dude.
Well, yes,
I did not know.
I knew watching. I'm talking about going in. Did you know?
No, I didn't, because we didn't know what the challenge was.
No, but after I picked my partner and after all that, and I think I had to do a
I
bathroom
wouldn't, just
break.
so you know, just to put this out there, and for what it's worth, I wouldn't have sabotaged you, dude.
And I appreciate that. I mean, I think you played it fair with Shake, right? You didn't sabotage him.
No, I didn't, because you know what? Here's the way I saw it. I saw that as a reflection on me. We go in, and this is something I should win. If I go in and I lose this, it's going to be like, dude, Bananas fucking sucks. But no, I knew it was obvious. I didn't know until we started watching. And then it was just obvious the way that he was giving you direction, that he was intentionally not telling you the right things to do. And then he confirmed it right after. But here's the thing that, like, this is what I think Johnny needs to do. Johnny, if you sabotaged him, then you got to own it, dude. You got to own it, because what I feel like he's trying to do, especially now, is he's trying to talk out of both sides of his mouth. Like, he wants on TV, he wants in interviews, he wants it for the fans to increase his villainy profile, to say he sabotaged you. But then in kind of like in private and not on TV and not in the public eye, he's like, nah, I would never do that. It's like, Johnny, if you did it, just own it.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
You can't.
Either you do it or you don't. And because ever since the episode come out, he's been texting me and calling me. I'm so sorry. I'm this and that. I'm like, it's fine, dude. I don't care anymore. It's water under the bridge. You're playing a game. I obviously am the one that is the idiot. I didn't do my research on who you were as a person, and I should have figured that out. But I got another question.
Was that the first time though, watching the episode, that you actually did you know before that, or was that the first time that you realized that happened?
That's the first time I knew it was happening, because I make it very known. I don't watch myself on TV. I don't watch the shows until they're out. Like, I was watching the show the first time with Johnny in Boston. We were watching it together. Like, I was watching it for we get the episodes early, but I never watch it. I watch it with everybody else. So yeah, that's the first time I was literally watching it. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Well, it's funny because on our group thread, which you, I think, removed yourself from because Shake's in it.
Quick. Yeah.
No, that's what he said in the group thread. He goes, has anyone seen episode 2? And we're like, no, we hadn't seen it yet. And he goes, well, this is going to make mine and Jax's bar appearance really awkward.
It wasn't that bad. He was so nervous though, and I felt bad for the guy. I'm like, listen, dude, it's a thing. Like I said, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I lesson learned. It was my fault. It's a game. I can't hold grudges. I can't be mad. It's part of the game. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I got another question. Okay, people want to know this question. It might be a little uncomfortable, but people want to know. Do you know what question I'm going to ask?
No.
Did you hook up with Corinne during filming or after filming, or both?
During filming, no. They would have caught it. Okay. And we got and what are we, when we're talking about hooking up, like what's
we're only episode 2 in, so who knows if they would have caught it. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm saying up to this point, if we would have, it would have been shown. But when we're talking about what's the litmus test here for hooking up, we talking about like first base, second base, third base.
I'm going to get right into it. People want to know, did you guys hook up? Did you sleep with her? I'll be polite because this is the Jackson Brittany podcast. So I'll be polite. Did you have sexual relations with Corinne at any point during the show? You said no. Okay. No. How about after the show? There it is. We're just going to go ahead and say yes to that.
I'm just going to go ahead and plead the fifth on this one. I mean, listen, here's the deal. She has been in the market for a bachelor for a really long time. Didn't work out for her, but now she may have found herself a bunatchler.
Uh-oh. Are you guys still talking?
Yeah, we just went to a NASCAR event the other day in Homestead.
Oh, really?
She's in South Florida too. Listen, I'm actually remiss that we forgot to mention her earlier on. We were talking about personalities in the house, and when I tell you she is, and you weren't obviously there long enough, but she is so funny. Like, that girl is such a just eccentric, over the top, dynamic, different, quirky, goofy, funny personality on TV. She was like the antithesis to Anfisa, which is probably why Anfisa didn't like her.
Right.
But no, I just thought just from an entertainment perspective, she's like super chill to hang out with. Just a really, she's just a really fun time. She's like a homie. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's like one of those girls you can like hang out with, and is obviously super hot, super feminine. Like, she's a girl through and through, but at the same time, you could still like hang out and kind of goof around as if like she's one of the boys. And those, in my opinion, are like the best types of girls.
See, I read that wrong. I look at her as the type of girl that you hook up with once, she'll never leave you alone. She's kind of like, I'll find you. Remember, like a Wedding Crashers? She reminds me of that girl. Like, you hook up with her once and she sinks her claws into you, and she's going to be like, oh my God, dude, she's a stage 5 clinger. Like, I was completely off about that. So I'm okay. Yeah. All right.
No,
all right.
She's cool. She's cool.
Is there anybody, I mean, other than myself, who was your favorite person to hang around with? I hate to say to one person, you can say two, but other than myself, I wasn't there that long. So who was your favorite person to hang out with on the show?
Male, female, Bobby, even though for whatever reason, he never wanted to hang out with me. I'm like, Bobby, come on.
Same thing. Same for me. If I wasn't working out with you, man, I was just listening to Bobby. I was kind of his fan. I was a fangirl. I would just sit and eat popcorn and just listen to him talk.
Because the shit that would come out of his mouth, and probably one of the most fun nights we had the entire time was last episode 2 in the jacuzzi, when Bobby got all drunk and we gassed him up to go up and confront New York. And you and I went up there with our towels on our heads and like the bun or whatever. And watching that confrontation with him and New York was one of, dude, that's just how he is. Like, Bobby is just he's this dude. The guy literally is one of the greatest television personalities I've ever seen. So obviously Bobby, I wouldn't say we hung out a lot. It was more me, like you said, just kind of sitting back and like watching him perform. And then it has to be a toss up between Tanisha and Corinne. Tanisha, because like Tanisha really was like my homie, dude. Like, her and I, it was probably the most unlikely like friendship or bond or whatever that I formed in the house. But Tanisha was like my dog, dude. And she was, we roomed together, and it was such a funny dynamic with her, Shake, and I. And then obviously, then there was Corinne that was, kind of
just there.
Corinne. No. Then there's Corinne. It was kind of like the roommate next door who would kind of pop in and visit. You know
what? She's a pretty girl. You're a single guy. We're locked in a house. Things are going to happen. Is there anybody on the show that, I don't know if you can say this or not, that you just didn't like, that you just like, nah, I don't care if I never see that person again?
No, not really, man. I mean, obviously, as the show goes on, there's kind of like relationships that form and relationships that break. And I'd be lying if I said that at certain points in the show, I was like, I don't care for this person, but you know how it is. I mean, your relationship with Shake is different, but generally I tend to, and especially in the challenge too, I tend to like leave my work at work. I think if I got really betrayed and backstabbed, I might feel a little bit different. But I felt like, kind of once I left the house, I kind of left whatever issues I had there. Plus, the one thing that's different about this show too, that I noticed is different about the challenge, is I felt like a lot of the drama, a lot of the confrontations, a lot of the blow ups were kind of like, I don't want to say scripted, because they weren't scripted, but they were over embellished and almost like it was like acting. Like, I almost felt like some of the times, like New York, for example, some of the confrontations
that was scripted to me. I'm sorry. That was very scripted. She came in. It didn't really, now that I look back at it, I'm going to cut you off. Now that I look back at it and I was watching it, it didn't matter if it was me, if it was anybody else. She was going in and going to say that script to whoever it was. Yeah. She didn't know me from Adam. And I have to remember that she did not know me. She was going in to play a part. To me, she was a character. That's her character. And I feel like when she's not on the show, she's not like that. Because when I saw her at the premiere party, she was a completely different person. When we're not filming, we had a great one-on-one talk. But then when the cameras were on, I'm like, who the hell are you? Like,
but I feel like all of maybe not you, but it's like with me, I feel like I'm way the same person. I don't want to say that I go on reality TV and I'm different. I just feel like I'm a much more over the top, loud, colorful, energetic, confrontational person than I am in my real life, because I know what makes good TV. And again, going back to like that, it's like, she's been in this game for such a long time. She knows what makes good TV. She knows what's going to move the needle. Same with Omarosa. Omarosa, I couldn't believe it. The way that she was able to like just flip a switch the second a camera came in and turn on. And again, soundbite machine, dude. The first episode when Corinne's crying and she goes, the first one to cry is the first one to fry. I'm like, yo, I've been in the show a long time. I'm like, that's gold, dude.
Especially when we went into like the cave, and we were the elimination.
The stronghold.
Like, she would come in and say something and then flip it to somebody else, and she's just so good. She's Omarosa, and that's why she is who she is. And I just, like I said, I still talk to her from time to time, and like I said, we had a great time at the press junket, and she's just amazing. Like I said, those girls are iconic. And I came home and I told Brittany, I go, man, I was so intimidated, especially with Tanisha, New York, and Omarosa. When those girls got battling, and you'll see it, guys, as the season goes along, when they battle, I just would sit back and keep quiet. And I was like a fly on the wall. I was so scared to even be seen by them. That's how afraid I was personally of these girls because they are so intimidating. I am overly intimidated by them. Even now we're not filming, I'm still intimidated by them.
I didn't. That's one of the reasons why, like, when New York confronted me, she does it multiple times. And for some reason, I'm always sitting at the exact same spot on the table when she does it. But the reason I couldn't even respond is it was a mix between intimidation and fear, because I'm like, I've never been approached this energy before, but also I'm flattered. Like, this is like a rite of passage for me as on reality TV. Like, I can check this off the bucket list. I got insulted and degraded by the HBIC, dude.
I mean, like, you know what? I've never, and I was trying to rack my brain, I've never been emotional in my life, let alone even with my close friends. I've never really gotten that emotional. And I let this girl who I've met for 5 minutes literally tear me up. Yeah. I mean, that was impressive.
It was impressive.
That's pretty impressive.
But again, what you have to realize is I think what she was saying and where it was coming from wasn't necessarily a place of, this is how I actually feel. It's like, this is what I feel like would be great for TV in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's Omarosa gave me like one of the best pieces of advice I've ever had. And I've been on TV long enough. She goes, if there's ever a big moment that like doesn't involve you, steal it. And I'm like,
it was like reality school for us. Like,
yes.
I mean, honestly, I was learning. I wish I would have had a notepad, because this is like people going to college.
Master class.
It was exactly perfect way to put it. That was a master class for me, and probably you too, in reality TV. I learned so much. So now for the future, I know how to handle certain things. So if I got anything out of that, it's I learned how to be a better reality star. I look at it that way. All right, we got to wrap up, dude. I went a little bit too long, but I'm going to be jumping on your podcast. We're going to continue this. I just want to say thank you to Johnny Bananas for being on our podcast today. I had so much fun. Are you going to break out the guitar? Are you going to break out the guitar?
What do you want to hear? You like Wonderwall?
Here we go. Here we go with the guitar.
Listen, Jax, I think the thing that Jax was most upset about when he left the house wasn't leaving the show, wasn't like, missing out on $200,000. It was not being able to listen to me serenade him anymore by the jacuzzi.
There's always, as you guys know, and I've said this before, there's always that one guy who plays the guitar, who brings the guitar everywhere he goes and feels the need to bring it out and serenade people no matter what time of the day it is. Could be morning, could be the middle of the day, could be drunk at night. And all of a sudden they just break out into tune. And Johnny was that guy. And it was funny, though. It was funny. I had a good time with it. But anyway, I just want to say thank you for being on the show, man. We're going to have you back towards the end of the season.
Looking forward to it. And see if your wife might want to join. You know what I mean?
She'll join next time. She's
gonna conveniently take next. She's like, but I'm tired today. I'm gonna watch the kids. You just handle this one, Jackson. I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm the only 2-time Jackson Brittany podcast guest that only had a podcast with Jax. So
I promise she'll be on next time, because like I said, we're going to have to, as people know, I'm coming back.
Yes.
So I will be back. So we're going to have to revisit all this, and I'm sure people would love to have you back, but I had some other questions, but maybe we'll get into those next time. We ran out of time just because we kept driving. But anyway, thanks for coming on the podcast, buddy. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next week on Jax and Brittany. Y'all have a great week. Take care. Brittany, how do I turn this off? Britt!